All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Swamiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschati Visatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining this morning. Welcome to our daily Srimad Bhagavatam session. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. The status, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 7. Further inquiries by Vidura, and today we're going to read verse 41 and 42. Before that, let's invoke our prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nastapaya Savatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttamasloke Bhakti Rotinastiti. Hare Krishna. I will read the first verse 41, and then maybe you can follow, and then 42 I'll just read myself. Verse 41. Sarve vedascha yagyascha tapodanani chanagha jiva bhaya pradhanasya nakurviran kalamapi. Sarve vedascha yagyascha tapodanani chanagha jiva bhaya pradhanasya nakurviran kalamapi. Sarve vedascha yagyascha tapodanani chanagha jiva bhaya pradhanasya nakurviran kalamapi. Hare Krishna. If anyone would like to read the verse.
Sabe vedascha yagyascha tapo dhanani chanagam divabhaya padhanasya nakurviram kalamapi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sarve Vedascha Jagnascha Tapodharani Chanagha Jiva Bhaya Pradhanasya Nakuri Kurviran Kalam Api.
Hare Krishna. Sarve Vedasha Yagyasha Tapodhanani Janagha Jiva Bhaya Pradhanasya Nakurvirana Kalamapi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sarve vedascha yajnascha tapodhanani chanaga jiva bhaya pradhanasya na kurviram kalam api. Hare Krishna.
Sarve vedascha yajnascha tapodhanani chanaka jiva bhaya pradhanasya na kurviran kalamapi.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, you can go word for word. Sarve, all kinds of. Vedaha, divisions of the Vedas. Cha, also. Yajnaha, sacrifices. Cha, also. Tapaha, penances. Dhanani, charities. Cha, and. Anagha, or spotless one. Jiva, the living entity. Abhaya, immunity from material pangs. Pradhanasya, of one who gives such assurance. Na, not. Kurviran, can he? equalized. Kalam, even partially. Api, certainly. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: O spotless one, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all mortal miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. Purport. The highest perfectional work of charity is to give people in general immunity from the anxieties of mortal existence. This can be done only by performing devotional service to the Lord. Such knowledge is incomparable. Cultivation of the knowledge in the Vedas, performance of sacrifice, and distribution of munificent charities altogether cannot form even a part of the immunity from the pangs of mortal existence that is gained from devotional service. The charity of Maitreya not only will help Vidura, but due to its universal nature will deliver all others in all times. Thus, Maitreya is immortal. श्रीसुक उवाच सा इत्थमपृष्टपुराणकल्पः कुरु प्रधानेन मुनिप्रधानः प्रवृत्तहर्षो भगवत्कथायां सञ्चोदितस्तं प्रहसन्निवाः. Synonyms: Sri Suka Uvacha, Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Saha he, Etham das, Aprishta, being questioned, Purana Kalpaha, one who knows how to explain the supplements of the Vedas, the Puranas, Kuru Pradhanena, by the chief of the Kurus, Muni Pradhanaha, the chief amongst the sages, Pravriddha, sufficiently enriched, Harsaha, satisfaction. Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead. Kathayam, in the topics of. Sanchoditaha, being so infused. Tam, unto Vidura. Prahasan, with smiles. Eva, like that. Aha, replied. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Sri Sukadev Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidura. He was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. Purport. Great learned sages like Maitreya Muni are always very enthusiastic about describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Maitreya Muni, being thus invited by Vidura to speak, appeared to be smiling because he actually felt transcendental bliss. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Further Inquiries by Vidura. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते. तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. First, before glorifying these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to take the permission and blessings from all of the Simmer devotees here.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, translation, I'll read translation again. O spotless one, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all mortal miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. And Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, thus the chief of the sages, who was always enthusiastic about describing topics regarding the personality of Godhead, began to narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidura. He was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. So, we are reading the further inquiries by Vidura, the chapter entitled, right? So today we are reading the last two verses of this chapter. So here, when we look at the chapter once again from verse 1, there are there are 5 sections, like from verse 1 to 7, we saw Vidura was asking questions. Of course, Srila Prabhupada was giving answers in the purport. And the questions about Supreme Lord, Jiva, and the connection to the 3 modes of mortal nature. And then from verse 8 to 15, Maitreya Muni was answering those questions. He asked till 7. And then from 15 or 16 onward, 16 to 23, Vidura was acknowledging and glorifying Maitreya Muni till 23. And then we saw from verse 24 to 39, Vidura is asking more further inquiries, elaborate more questions about Lord Brahma creating 14 planetary systems, 4 types of living species, what are these annihilation, all those things. So these last few topics from verse 40 to 42 is the summarization of this chapter. So here in this verse, Vidura is addressing Maitreya Muni as spotless, Anagha, right? And we already heard in verse 39, there in the translation and purport, Anagasuris are mentioned. Who are they? They are the pure devotees of the Lord, spotless. And he is addressing Maitreya Muni as a spotless one. But we should also not forget that Vidura is also not an ordinary soul. He is Yamaraj himself, an eternal associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maitreya Muni himself addresses by Vidura as the eternal associate in the 5th chapter of the same canto. And then he says in the other verse, not like this, but he says something like, Vidura, you are not ordinary. Because the Supreme Lord left message for you with me before he left this world. So that means you are not an ordinary person. Right? And then talking about the question and answer, in first canto itself, we already heard the glorification of inquiries. Not any inquiries, but only those inquiries which are relevant, samprashna. Uh, those inquiries actually bring the welfare to the whole world. There is a verse, it says, some Munaya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbhir lokamangalam yad krita Krishna samprashno. Krishna samprashno enatma suprasiddhati. And this is the verse when Sutta Goswami was thanking the sages of Naimisaranya who were asking the questions in chapter 1. This is, I think, the first verse of chapter 2. He is thanking those sages for asking questions, which was in chapter 1. And then again in the beginning of 2nd canto, Sukadev Goswami also glorifies the question and answer. Bariyan, Sri Sukha uvacha, Bariyan estate prashna, krito loka hitam nipa. lokahita, right? Sri Sukadev Goswami says, your question is so glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. And he says the answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing. And then Srila Prabhupada actually in the purport to the um, fifth verse, I'll say that, he says about the question and answer, how we cannot live without question and answer. Sadhu, this one. We'll just go to the part where Srila Prabhupada, yeah, here. Okay, David, Prabhu, do you want to read this?
Hare Krishna. The whole world is full of questions and answers. The birds, beasts, and men are all busy in the matter of perpetual questions and answers. In the morning, the birds in the nest become busy with questions and answers, and in the evening, also the same birds come back and again become busy with questions and answers. The human being, unless he is fast asleep at night, is busy with questions and answers. The businessmen in the market are busy with questions and answers, and so also the lawyers in the court and the students in the schools and colleges. The legislators in the parliament are also busy with questions and answers, and the politicians and the press representatives are all busy with questions and answers. Although they go on making such questions and answers for their whole lives, they are not at all satisfied. Satisfaction of the soul can only be obtained by questions and answers on the subject of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babu. Yeah, so for the Srila Prabhupada says, we cannot live for a moment without being questioned or without giving answers. Because Srimad Bhagavatam deals with the question and answers that related to Krishna, we can derive the highest satisfaction only by reading and hearing this transcendental literature and not otherwise. So in today's verse, in 41, in the translation, it says, your answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, penances, etc. So, what are the material miseries? I think we, few months ago, we heard in detail about these material miseries. Material miseries should not be like just applicable only to me or only to someone. It should be common to everyone, all of us. Not only human being, even the other living entities should be common for all. So those material miseries are like birth, death, old age, and disease. And when we see all these material miseries are the result of the ignorance, the forgetfulness of our real identity. Because we think, or I think I'm this mind and body. Not only that, and then the cycle or the interference of karma, our karma also interferes, right? So we get entangled in our own karma. And so when we ask how does this knowledge grant immunity from all the material miseries, right? Just taking an example from our day-to-day life, like imagine a person getting a chronic illness or internal infection, and then we can see all these symptoms like pain, fever, right, chills, all those symptoms. But if we only take like the what it is called, like just for painkiller or just Tylenol or something like that, for time being it'll be okay, the fever will go away or you'll feel better, like no pain, right? But what happens, it'll come back again because the root is still there, the infection is still there. So the root has to be treated, right? Similarly, these material miseries are like those chronic disease, chronic illness, and we try all these Vedic rituals, penances, all those things as a temporary relief, like Tylenol. But we never feel satisfied, like we just read, because the root is there. The root problem is still there. What is that? The forgetfulness of our real identity. Because we think that I'm here to enjoy, I'm here to have fun, that I'm here to be the center of attraction, because I was envious seeing Krishna being the center of attraction in Goloka. So I wanted to be the center of attraction. That's why I'm here. But we don't realize, or we don't want to realize. Right? So that's why here Vidura is saying, he's telling to Maitreya Muni, those answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. That is the cure for the root infection. Is that forgetfulness? And then Lord Krishna, actually in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 36 verse, he says, even if you're considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, I'm just reading the translation. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. That is Lord Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita. That is why here in the translation, such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, finances, etc. So now when we say charity, there must be a qualified giver and the receiver, which is actually indicated in next verse. Saying Guru Pradhanena and Muni Pradhana in next verse, if you see here. Guru Pradhanena Muni Pradhana. While talking about Guru Pradhana and Muni Pradhana, both of them, here Sukadev Goswami is referring to both of them as the chief of Kuru dynasty, Guru Pradhana, and chief among the sages, Munis, is Muni Pradhana. So they are not ordinary souls. If we think about these words here, Kuru Pradhana means the chief among the Kurus, but we all know that Vidura was not the king, or is not Dhritarashtra was the king, right, at the time. And not only that, Vidura was the son of a maidservant. But why Sukadev Goswami is telling him Kuru Pradhana? So there is a reason why he was called Kuru Pradhana. If we think of another examples like Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto, we see that Lord Nrsimhadev himself calls or addresses Prahlad Maharaj as Surottama. He says, best among the Asuras. It is in 7th canto, chapter 9, verse 52, if you want to see the verse. And then in another verse in the same canto, 13th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj is addressed as Asura Shrestha by the Ajgar, I know, not Ajgar, that Brahmana. He says Asura Shrestha, right? And then Muni Pradhana, or Maitreya Muni. Why Muni Pradhana? Muni, actually, if we see the meaning of Muni, Muni means who keeps mauna or silence. And he is called here Muni Pradhana, right? And if we think about it, in Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada, while he writes the purport on the verse Vacho Begam, Manasakrodha Begam, he says Vacho Begam doesn't mean you keep silence. Vacho Begam means one who only speaks about Krishna, anything related to Krishna, glorifying Krishna, talking about the pastime, all those things. So that is called Vacha Begam or Mauna. keeping silence. So among these sages, Maitreya Muni is referred to here as Muni Pradhana. Okay, and then we see here further in the verse it says Kuru Pradhanena Muni Pradhana Prabhritta Harso Bhagavat Kathayam Sanchoditastam Prahasan Ivaha. Prahasan Ivaha. This is another hidden word here. Why it is said Prahasan Iva. Prahasan Iva. Eva means like here in the word for word we can see like that, right? And in Sanskrit there is another word Eva, EVA, or in Sanskrit it is Eva and Eva. Eva is like, but Eva means certainly or 100%. That's for sure, kind of. Like we can see or we can remember that verse like Mam Eva ye prapadyante Mayam etam tarantite, means certainly whoever surrenders unto me, only me, can get out of or can cross this material or illusory energy, right? That is Eva. But Eva, here Maitreya Muni is just a smiling like. And if we remember another pastime where Lord Krishna smiles like this, there is a verse in 10th canto where this word comes there too, Prahasan Eva. Right? It is in, I don't remember the verse, but it is in 10th canto where Lord Krishna was taken by Akrura. Akrura comes in, there's a whole long chapter. Akrura comes, takes Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. All right, and on the way while going, Akrura goes to the Yamuna, and then while he sees Krishna Balaram under the water also, that is another pastime, and then he sees Krishna Balaram in the chariot also. So that's why the senior devotees say that, like in different classes I heard, that's why Krishna never left Vrindavan, because when Akrura, in Akrura Ghat, that is named after Akrura as Akrura Ghat, when Akrura sees that Krishna and Balaram inside the water, that means Krishna changed. He stayed in Vrindavan and he changed his expansion to Mathura. That is another. Let's not go to that. But I'm going to focus on Prahasan Eva. So after that, when they reach Mathura, it was almost, sunset time, Godhuli. So after reaching there, Lord Krishna grabs not Maitra, sorry, Akrura's hand, and he says to him that, let me read this verse. Tan sametyaha Bhagavan Akruram jagadiswaraha grihitva panina paninam. Panim means grihitva, his hand on his hand. Panina panim prasritam prahasaniva. It is indication to the another verse, but it says prasritam prahasaniva. Supreme Lord Krishna, the controller of the universe, took humble Akrura's hand in his own hand and smiling spoke as follows. He's going to speak in another verse. But the word Prahasan Eva is listed here also, saying that Lord Krishna was smiling like, not smiling fully, like here, Prahasan Eva, like little smile. Okay? Why he was doing that? Because it was that time of the day. While till yesterday, he used to be coming back from Vrindavan forest after rearing the cows and calves. So he'll be coming back with gopas, right? And what will happen? All the gopis in Vrindavan, they will be waiting for Krishna to come back from bringing the cows back, right? So they will be waiting. That day for them would be like a lifetime, because that separation, they would be waiting for Krishna, when Krishna is coming back, when Krishna is coming back. So that time, that Godhul is the time of meeting or seeing Krishna. And that is also described as like how beautiful Krishna looks, because he was rearing the cows, and all, like while bringing cows, the dust arising from the cow and calf hooves. It's like cloud, and then Krishna is layered with all those dust from the Goras, and he was looking more beautiful. Gopis describing him as like, you look in Gopi Git. I forgot the verse, but it's very nice, like how he was described, like even with the Goras, he looks so beautiful, right? And like when we say about the love, it's not only one side, it's both sided. Like gopis were getting pleasure seeing Krishna, right? And similarly, Krishna never expressed, but now he started missing them because he's in Mathura. And it is the same time when sun is setting, and now he's in Mathura. Like he's missing the gopis. That moment, seeing them very satisfied, right? Krishna gets more pleasure when he sees the gopis were having that pleasure. So now, thinking of gopis, his eyes gets filled with tears. He couldn't stop it. But he couldn't cry also, because he was in front of Akrura, who is his uncle. So he couldn't cry also. So he just did a little smile just to cover that pain of separation, that tears of separation, just to shadow that he just does prahasaniva, prasritam prahasaniva. So he hides his pain with that smile. And he requests Akrura, please, you go. You go, we will go to Mathura, we'll take a tour of Mathura, and then we'll come back. Right? But why? Why Maitreya Muni is smiling like that here? Right? Prabhupada in the purport says Maitreya Muni was very enthusiastic about describing appear to be smiling because he actually felt transcendental bliss. Right? So when we dig more in it, Maitreya Muni felt transcendental bliss. Why? Because he knew Vidura was nothing ordinary, like we already spoke that he was Yamaraj himself, the eternal associate of Lord Krishna. So he knows everything. But he was acting like Gokhara. Like if you remember that verse, like if we go to the pilgrimage and we don't associate with the devotees and we don't hear from the devotees, then going to pilgrimage is like Gokhara, cow and asses. It's futile. No use. You go to pilgrimage, just take bath and come back. Right? Srila Prabhupada condemns such tendency many times in his classes. So here, Vidura is acting like Gokhara. Like, I don't know anything. So he's asking questions to Maitreya Muni. That's why Maitreya Muni is like, I know you know everything. But he was feeling transcendental bliss. Because when we get the knowledge, right, the right devotee or the right mindset is to share that knowledge. So he was smiling because like how great Vidura is. Like he is trying to churn Maitreya Muni's knowledge. And in another place it is also said that, how a fool, if there is there's a sponge, I don't know how to say that word, but it is full, completely full. If you just touch it, it starts flowing out. So the spiritual masters or the devotees who have that knowledge full to the brim, they're always eager to share it. They look for the opportunity to share that knowledge. Right? And then Vidura, knowing that, he's touching him, he's asking, he's poking him, and he's asking these questions so that now Maitreya Muni can spill. So from these verses, what we learn is not only that we ask questions and we benefit for ourselves, but it is beneficial for everyone. Like in first canto or second canto, I forgot. There is this verse where it says like when someone asks question, that is relevant question, not like is there mosquitoes in Vaikuntha or like that. Relevant questions. Someone asks relevant questions. The question, whoever asks the question, whoever answers the question, and the third party, whoever listens to these conversations, are benefited. This is for everyone's benefit. And like that's why Sukadev Goswami referred Vidura in Maitreya Muni as Guru Pradhana and Muni Pradhana, chief among the Gurus and chief among the sages, because they are doing this conversation for the welfare of the whole universe. And Srila Prabhupada, when we think of Srila Prabhupada also, when he received all these knowledges, right, he didn't keep it to himself. He could stay in Radha Damodar temple for his life, right? At the old age, he thought of sharing that transcendental knowledge to all of us, starting from the West, because West is also known as, what is that word? Mleksha Des, right? So it was the most degraded. It was regarded as most degraded. So I was going to say just like Pradhana word, like that applies to our Srila Prabhupada also. Not only he delivered this transcendental message to all of us, and he expected the followers, his followers, to do the same. Receive the knowledge and share the knowledge. Right? I forgot the first word. He says, Jai Krishna Tattveta, Sai Guru Hai. Anyone who has this knowledge, who knows or who realizes that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, can also share this knowledge to others for everyone's benefit. So saying that we not only taking the knowledge, we also need to share this knowledge, which is the essence of our Srila Prabhupada's teaching. I would like to conclude our session for today here, and would like to open for more insights, comments, or more additional points I might have missed so much. Thank you, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for a very nice class. So many references that you gave that were very, very good to help open our eyes to, especially, I mean, what I'll just talk about some of my takeaways from it. The importance of getting information about the dham that you visit when you go to different important dhams, Vrindavan, Mathura, especially the places where the sacred rivers are, and people just go to bathe and then they buy some things and that's the end of that. But you need to get more spiritually charged, surcharged with those being around or associating with those who know about the down properly, so you can get information fed to you that you will actually be spiritually nourishing. And you mentioned that those who don't do that, that's in Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 84, text 13. So Eva Gokara made that point that hopefully the Buddhists don't go like tourists only. I know they go to the temples. We are very, very much prepared for such situations by the fact that we chant and we hear already. So hearing is not difficult to hear when you go to Vrindavan. We're already used to hearing in that temple. So just offer the same kind of attitude there, and that would be all right. Hare Krishna. So I just wanted to comment only on that point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the verse say that by inquiring, by hearing about Krishna, then we become free from miseries. And can you explain a little bit more about it?
You are asking a question, Mataji?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just read through that. When we say these material miseries, like birth, death, old age, and disease, we are in this cycle because we left the company of Lord Krishna in Golokadham and we wanted to enjoy here. So we came here forgetting that we are the servant, eternal servant of Lord Krishna, or Dasanudas if we go there in detail. But we wanted to enjoy and we came here. But we tried to pretend that or whoever, like me, I'm saying, pretending that I don't know, and just trying to enjoy this world. So whatever miseries become like anxieties or our problems, whatever the root cause is, like because we are here. Why are we here? Because we try to be the enjoyer. We wanted to be the enjoyer. That is forgetting the eternal position of the being the servant. But when one knows, I mean, that is the solution Srimad Bhagavatam and all other Vedic literatures give us, is like trying to remind us, like, you're not this body, you're not this mind, you are the Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas, you're the eternal servant. So the first thing is that when we know we're the eternal servant, that gives us the humbleness, the humility, from that, free from that mentality, not completely free, but we can remind ourselves, like, I'm not here to enjoy, right? And then other thing, that once we are humble, and we can treat others in a similar way also. Like most of the fights we see nowadays is like because someone said something to like someone that hurt uh, mm, that person, because it attacked his ego or something like that, right? But if everyone knows that we are the servant, we're not here to enjoy, we're not the master, that thing automatically gets resolved. And talking about all these problems, like even physical health problem and everything, and here we don't forget that the other 5 things also play a part, like karma, time, prakriti, and all those stuff also comes there. And when we are situated in the fixed knowledge that I'm not this body and mind, we can focus on elevating ourselves to the platform beyond the modes of material natures, right? We can see the example, for example, His Holiness Sapataka Swami Maharaj. Everyone knows that he has almost every surgery is done, right? Still, when he speaks, it's hard for us to understand if there is no translator on the side, or if we don't see the subtitles, right? But he's still carrying out his service because he's in that Vishuddha. He's in that platform, out of mind and body. Just an example. So we can think, like, if we get some headache, like we feel so groggy, we don't want to go to work or something like that. Oh, I'm not feeling well. But look at him. Look at Japataka Swami Maharaj. How he's carrying out. I mean, just a crude example, but that's what I'm saying. Like this knowledge is the gives immunity. I mean, it's immune. Like you're not affected by these material miseries. When we get these transcendental knowledge, we imbibe that knowledge in our life. Just not reading. We have to imbibe it. I'm sorry. I'm just saying to myself. We have to imbibe to be immune to those miseries. I mean, what I just said, whatever I understood, but here are many other like, the exalted devotees, they can answer more if it is not, if it didn't answer you, Mother Golokananda.
Thank you. Again, as a reference to this verse, Vidura, by hearing about the topic of Krishna, feeling so much relief from all miseries. I think somehow all of us, we have miseries, like, I'm just wondering, sometimes when we hear the miseries continues. So
Yeah.
does that mean you have to hear really with rapt attention and really believe,
Yeah.
that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and continuously,
Yeah.
hearing, then we feel the effect by hearing topic about Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that point, actually. Rapt attention, yes. Most of the time, like what I do is like play class and then I'll be doing something else. I can't sit in one place and listen to the class. I have to do something, multitasking, doing something. So that's really important, the rapt attention. Like Parashit Maharaj, when he heard that, he has only 7 days to live, what he did, he dropped everything. He was the king. He has so much responsibility. I'm nothing. I don't have anything. Then also I can't sit in one place and listen. But he was the king of the whole world. He had so much responsibility, but he dropped everything. And then for 7 days, 7 nights, he just sat without even drinking. Like there's a verse which it says, Parashit Maharaj even didn't stop to drink a sip of water or something, like for 7 days with rapt attention. And he was immune to the effect of the death. That it didn't bother him. Like we will be like, oh my God, 6 days, countdown, 5 days, 4 days. No, we was like just there asking more questions, releasing the pastimes, releasing the answers given by Sukadev Goswami. Jai. Thank you, Mother. Welcome. Hare Krishna Kaivali Prabhu. If you have anything else to add?
Hare Krishna. Nothing else to add. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Kaivali.
So nothing to it. You really spoke nicely today. Yeah, I heard that about different things, and yeah, tomorrow I'm giving class, so I got few points, and that's very, very good, You explained them, most of them. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Always good to hear on a Sunday morning, instructions like that. Rapt attention. That is my takeaway for today. Try my best to pay more attention. Even when we sit in class, in front of the speaker, in front of the deity, still our mind tends to wander away. Really a tough thing to control. But beginning of the week, good instruction for us to take and try. Thank you very much.
That is my takeaway also. Thank you for Golokananda Premati to bring that up. Rapt attention. We really need to practice that.
Yeah, even Mataji, we hear with rapt attention many times, but then we forget, 90% things we forget. That's what the static says, whatever we hear. So we have to hear it again and again, at least 2 times, and or 3 times, again hear and then make some notes and meditate on them. And then you have to tell to your friends, devotees with equal mind, you share. Then you will remember permanently. Otherwise, it's hard.
Yes.
I have had so many classes, in so many years. Nothing in the brain, everything is out. So this is the problem, After hearing, definitely we have to. And during hearing also, it's best to make some notes, That will really help, then it will go long way, that way. Otherwise, it just washes away. Yeah. So we have to be careful, when we hear. Otherwise, we will be hearing, but it will be beneficial, of course, but it won't stay too long in our brain.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that's Srila Prabhupada says in the Sargoswami Astakam. I think in the translation it says scrutinizingly. Here, scrutinizingly, reading here. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shyamagori Mataji.
I missed you this morning.
Little bit late I'm sorry. But I at least saw your face and then I listened to little bit. Not that much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I think all today for today. Parikshit Prabhu, did you unmute yourself?
Yes, I did. I was wondering, I couldn't see Mother Vinyavali very much, so I just went. It's my own, maybe my own computer is not really showing her face that much. I can see her glasses, that's all.
Dark in there.
Hare Krishna. Anyway, they all go through different changes. The body is getting old and so on. Yeah, and Mother Golokananda Mataji was talking about suffering, diseases, and every time somebody mentions suffering, then I remember some of the comments made by Chandamali Swami in his lectures, and also Radhanath Swami in his lectures, that the material world is actually designed for us not to get comfortable here. If Krishna made us comfortable, we wouldn't want to leave. We work and work and work until we drop. So if we're not comfortable, then we are reminded of, Vaikuntha. It's a whole lot better there, and you don't, go through nowhere the changes that happen here in the material world. So then you're going to want to go home. So this is also Krishna's plan. Devotees understand it that way. Non-devotees think that they have to try to make things work better here, come up with different scientific products, and it will be better, It never has been better. More mistakes get made, and then more problems happen. So yeah, it's designed that we give up and get out to a better place, which is Vaikuntha. Hare Krishna. So they both explained, Chandamali Swami and Radhanath Swami explained it that way. I just thought I'd share it. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. A question about that. It seems to me like unless we understand that we are not going to be comfortable here, we will not take on to this process. But it seems to me that unless we take on this process, we don't seem to understand that, at least for me, that's how it was. It took me a long time after coming to ISKCON to understand that I'm not going to be comfortable here after hearing so much that it's such a futile attempt. So how do you go, I mean, I don't preach much, but if I have to preach, that's the first place I start, that we will not be comfortable here. So you're wasting your time. Unless I tell them that, I feel I cannot explain anything else. The whole purpose is to, but then that's not the first place to start. So how do you?
Shyamagori Mataji, are you answering that question?
No, it's the question goes to you.
Okay, summarize it again, because I caught parts of it, and then my computer kind of gave me a little bit, gave me an alert, and it threw me off. So, just summarize it a little bit.
No, all I want to say is unless we hear this much Bhagavatam, we don't understand that we don't belong here. We will never be happy here.
Yeah.
I've heard that fish out of water plays so much, but it took me such a long time to understand that I am the fish and I am out of water. And unless you understand that we don't belong here, nothing at all will make us happy here. Something else has to be pursued. But I feel unless we pursue that, we are not understanding this point that we don't belong here. And I'm
It's like a
saying that,
catch-22, huh?
yeah, I don't preach much, but if I have to preach, that is where I would start. You don't belong here, so please take on this process. But if they
Yeah.
don't,
There's two types of people in the world. Each be like one, but two types of people in the world: those who are in illusion and those who are not in illusion because they have gotten the proper message about this world. So, what you talked about was really the part of the four mistakes people make: being in illusion. That part. Mhm. When we think that we can solve problems here, but the problems never seem to go away, and all around us, the people are getting diseased. At least the disease is there. Then also death is there, and we all get surprised. One person that maybe was very popular, that hits home, especially when that person dies, and a whole bunch of people hear about it. So it gets to the point where you have to realize, this is not the best thing for being in this world here. This is not the best thing for everybody. That is when the intelligence really kicks in. But to come back to your question, I've just kind of described the outskirts of this. But then you said if you had to preach, you would start with the whole point of making people realize that this is no place to be. Actually, I was in that situation. I was invited to talk about Vaishnavism in one of the colleges about half hour from me where I live. And that's how we started also. Just by saying first that we're not the body, I went straight into the miseries because that's when people don't realize, people are just tolerating. The weather is bad. Yeah, it will go away. They tolerate. That's every time we give that excuse. It's only for a short while. It's only for, but it's bad. That part we don't sit on it so much. So we started talking about the miseries. I didn't say they were miseries. I just said that the challenges that we face. So then we went into the fact that the disease and the miseries from our own minds. You talk about people get depressed, people get fearful. They can't fight any of this. It's true. People get fearful, people get depressed, people, and then other situations with other living entities. Other living entities bother us, deliberately or not deliberately. So I have to explain that too. Deliberately means other criminals giving us problems. They know that they'll give us problems, they cause it anyway. And what about the non-deliberate? The germs. They're just trying to live. But they give us problems too. You know, then it was actually winter when I went there. So I said, and then the other thing is the weather. Do I need to tell you? There was snow outside. They all knew. So, so you bring these things up, adiatic, adibotic, adidatic, and you got them thinking that, so it's not so wonderful here in this world. So where is it that we need to go? Well, where the Lord is. At least then you can bring Krishna consciousness in how it's all done, all the time. How we have to chant the holy name of the Lord and understand that our life is not going to be these kinds of things. You can't bring any science to solve it. None. You cannot. These are things that are beyond what the sun. No matter how much science, we'll still be fearful. We'll still be depressed. Criminals will be on us. The bugs will still bother us, and the weather will bother us. You cannot solve any of these. None. You have to get out of here. And then just basically lead them to the spiritual world and what the situation is, and it can be. Some people also question, they say God is very nice. So many things about God. You know, how come we're suffering here? How come people die? How come planes crash and all of those? Then you explain to them, well, this is actually the cosmic jail. You are in jail, so we're in jail. It doesn't matter. God is still very nice, but you're in jail though. So you won't see much of how nice the Lord is until you get out of jail, which is beyond the sky, past the sky. There's actually a lot of good things going on, but the sky is covering us, and we're here in this situation in jail. So this is how sometimes we've had to come across to those who didn't know anything about basic consciousness. But if you actually explain in simple terms, Adhyatmic, Adhibhotic, and Adhidevic, they cannot fight you. It is true. It is very true. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Glory to the Prabhupada.
I don't see any other hands up, Mother Shyamagori. Thank you very much. You and Parikshit Prabhu.
Krishna. Oh, I'll just peel and stuff. The credit goes to Mataji Shyamagori.
Goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay.